Invocation. All rise and face the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can I have a motion on the minutes? I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. We have no special presentations this evening, which takes us to item 5, election of officers. I have a light. Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I make my motion to nominate a chairman for our upcoming year, I would just like to say thank you, as I did at 3 o'clock, but to say it now, for your dedication and your leadership. This is a tough job, and there's a lot of X's and O's and dotting I's and crossing T's, and I personally thank you, and I know this council thanks you for your dedication this year as service to us as our chairman, and we thank you very much.
Thank you.
And with that, I would like to make a motion to nominate our vice chairman, Erskine Oglesby, for the position of chairman.
All right, sir. I got a few of the lights. Let's bounce around. Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I second that nomination, I too want to thank you for the hard work you've done. Having been in that seat, I know that it consumes a lot more time than just every Tuesday night. Thank you for the hard work, and I'm grateful for your leadership this year.
Thank you.
And with that, I second the nomination of Councilman Oglesby.
Thank you, ma'am. I have one further light. Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I, too, want to echo the sentiments of my council persons. Unless you sit in that seat, you don't realize how difficult a job it is. And I think you've run our meetings professionally, and I appreciate that. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, sir. With that, I see no further lights, so I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed is nay. Congratulations.
Good evening. With that being said, thank you all for the honor and the privilege to serve. There's no greater responsibility than service and giving back to your community. With that being said, I'd like to make a motion for vice chair, Councilwoman Burrs. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Got you.
You'll get the hang of it.
Yeah. I hope that's the least of my concerns.
I'd like to nominate Councilman Henderson for vice chair.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Would you like to say something, Councilwoman? Okay, we got 2 seconds. It's been moved and properly second. All in favor? Opposes? Thank you. All right.
You're going to have to raise that up to a big boy soon.
Yeah, I am. It is up. Okay. That's as far as it'll go. All right. Madam Clerk, if you'll read 6A, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties located in the 6200 block of Vance Road, more particularly described herein from R1 residential zone to M2 manufacturing zone, subject to certain conditions.
Councilwoman Burrs. It should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
John? I move to approve. I just want John to read the conditions in for the record, and everybody's in agreement.
This one would be just for the, I think the M2, this one Advance.
That's right.
So this was just the map change.
Okay.
The conditions would be the next case on first reading.
Yeah, all right. So the front part will be R1, the back part will be M2,
That's correct.
and all the other buffers and everything that were in there, just to assure the people that were calling. I don't know there's any opposition here, Mr. Chair, but you might ask.
Is there any opposition here? Seeing none, what's your pleasure?
I move approval.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. 7A, please, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property located at 7315 Tyner Road and 7445 Lee Highway, more particularly described herein, from R1 residential zone to C2 convenience commercial zone, subject to certain conditions.
Is the applicant present? I am, yes, sir. Is any opposition here? Okay, we have opposition.
If we could have the presentation put up. There's a little thing here. Line at the back. Thank you. Okay, this is a request to rezone from R1 to C2 convenience commercial zone for a proposed restaurant. It is located at the intersection of Tyner Road and Lee Highway. As you can see in this little more zoomed in photo, there's a variety of land uses to the immediately abutting this property to the west. You do have some single family residential. To the north of the site is a vacant lot. Across the street you have some commercial, and to the south you got some storage facilities to the south. So you get a mix of uses. Here you can see, looking into the site, it's currently vacant. Here's on the top left is looking from Tyner Road. On the top right is looking from Silverdale Road to the south into the property. On the lower two pictures, you can see on the lower left is some of the commercial development across the street, and then to the right you see the adjacent home that's next to this property on the west. The current zoning of the site is R1, and you see to the north and west is zoned R1, but to the east, south, the east and southeast, the other three corners are zoned commercial currently. There was a request about a year ago to rezone a property that was vacant from R1 to R3MD for an apartment development. This was denied by City Council, as also recommended for denial by staff. The main concern here was that property would be accessing on Silverdale Road, which is a narrow road that's used by single-family residential. I would note that one of the key differences for this property to the south is that its access would come off of Tyner Road, not Silverdale. This is the site plan that was provided to us, indicating, again, you can see the frontage on Tyner and Lee Highway, with parking in front and a building and the dumpster to the rear, with some landscaping abutting to the property to the west. The land use plan that's been adopted for this area, the Shalford Road Lee Highway plan, recommends low-density residential for this site. So when looking at a whole variety of factors, including the plan and the zoning, it is not compatible with the plan, but it is old. The plan is about 14 years old. The thing I think really became a determining factor for staff was the fact that you had three corners that are already zoned commercial. This current lot is vacant, and given that you've got three corners on a commercial road that is commercial, it's not likely this is going to stay residential for the long term. However, there are uses in the C2 zone that staff would be concerned with that would have an impact on the adjacent residential. So we didn't think just a wide open C2 would be appropriate. So based on that, staff recommended approval of some conditions to constrain the use and activity on the site. The 5 original conditions you see on the screen here. The first, that vehicular access would be from Tyner Road only, so it would not be on Silverdale Road. There'd be a site obscuring fence. In addition to the Type B landscape buffer along the west and north property lines, that's where you have those abutting residential uses. Hours of operation be limited from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Dumpsters will be allowed on the property with trash pickup between 8 and 5 p.m. And finally, no gas stations or vehicle repair or wash facilities on the site. That was the original conditions recommended by staff. At Planning Commission, there was opposition and some concerns about, again, the operating hours of the site and what the impacts would be to their residences nearby. After hearing those comments from the public, as well as the applicant and staff's recommendation, there was it's still recommended to approve from Planning Commission, but with one change to the allowed uses. They decided to constrain it a little more than what staff had recommended, to basically limit it to restaurant and office use only. Since that time, I know we presented to council committee last week, and one amendment being considered, proposed by Councilwoman Burrs, would be to add a 6th condition that would basically say no outdoor loudspeakers allowed. So I'll leave that with you all.
And that is currently the alternate version for tonight.
Councilman Burrs, please.
All right. I did add that there'd be no outside noise, no outdoor speakers, no order at a window sort of thing. Are you agreeable with that? All right. I haven't heard from any opposition, but I would like to hear the opposition.
Wait, one second. Would you please read the rules, City Attorney, please?
Sure, ma'am. You have a total of 7 minutes in opposition, or actually 9 minutes total in opposition, split up among your folks if you wish in that regard, but you have to come up to the microphone to speak in that connection with this.
Yeah. Wait, before she goes up there, applicant, would you like to say something? You have the opportunity to speak first, if you like. If that's your pleasure. But you got, okay.
Should normally let him speak first.
Yeah, he said he wants to speak at the end. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Henrietta Hill. Me and my husband live next door to where he's planning on putting the pizza place. Our concern was the late hours because we do work early. The dumpster, we have a pool right there, and where he's planning on putting the privacy fence, it's going right down my pool. So us up on our deck, the people at this pizza place is gonna see everything that goes on in our house. We don't wanna hear the dumpster early in the morning or, you know, whatever, and we do have a lot of traffic as it is, and people, we have the churches, we have Silverdale, we have the Jehovah's Witness Church, we have the schools, we have 3 schools on Tanner Road, plus we have the Silverdale School. So we have tons of traffic as it is. And then y'all having access coming on from Tanner there, why can he not come from Lee Highway or something? Because, I mean, our traffic's already horrible. And I also started a petition, and I had over 60 people sign that's in the neighborhood that people did not even hear about this or know about it. It was a hush-hush thing, evidently, because I'm the only one that got a letter. No one else got a letter. And he did come and speak to me, and I understand completely what he's trying to do. I do. He's a businessman. But I'm also a homeowner with grandchildren that come to my house very often, especially in the summertime, to use the pool. And like I said, the traffic is horrible all the time through there. We have the football going on, we have the churches and everything else. So that's my concern, and the dumpster, and the late hours. Are they gonna get out at 10 o'clock at night, or is it gonna be 11, 12 o'clock that they finally clean up and get out, and then am I gonna have to put up with the employees out there being loud and stuff? And then, you know, people from the church and stuff, and people leaving from drinking at his restaurant, what's gonna happen right there? You have Lee Highway, you have so much traffic right there. And so that's my concern.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yeah. Ms. Hill, you're the lady I called back, and I never
We
did.
kind of play phone tag, yes.
Yeah, you never called back again. So I did call you back. You've brought up a lot of good points. What we were trying to do, what is your idea for what should happen there?
I wouldn't mind office buildings or something. I mean, I agree. I'm glad that you said no speakers, because I don't want to be laying in bed and my bedroom's right next to this property.
Sure.
And here, I need a large pizza with so-and-so. You know?
I
get
got
up
it.
early. My husband gets up 5 o'clock in the morning, and I've been there 20-something years. I understand there's gonna be a change. Hey, I'm all for change. But I
What-
also have grandkids. and
Would
I
it
also
be,
know-
would it be helpful, and that's why I called you back, would it be helpful for the many points that you brought up if we defer this a week and sit down and talk? Because I know Mr. Smotherman wanted to do the right thing too.
Yes, and I would like to see the layout of what his plan is. And also, I brought up at the last meeting, and he said he only owned a business for 3 years in Dalton, then he sold it. Okay, my concern with Miss O'Neill, I went through the city constantly trying to get her to tear down an old garage that homeless people were staying in. Am I gonna have to go through that again if his business doesn't make it? Homeless, drugs, people just camping down there. You know, I put up with that and had to call the police, the city, and everything else, trying to get Miss O'Neill to clean it up down there.
Okay.
We kept so much of that property cleaned up, or the weeds would just come all over on us.
Okay, well, you've got a lot of energy about this, and I'm wondering if, I don't blame you. I mean, if it were, I wish we could have had this discussion before now. I think everybody wants to do the right thing.
Yeah, and I'm okay with doing the right thing, but
okay.
I also have these concerns because I have grandkids.
Okay.
And
And
I've already dealt with the homeless and stuff over there.
in this same property?
Yes, the same property, and I have called Miss O'Neill, and I have told her her own daughter that she knew was living down there. She
Okay.
let her daughter live down there.
So this would probably clean up the property. How about this?
I don't know, because people come through there and think we're a dump or something because they toss their beer cans and everything else while my husband's out there cutting the grass. That's how rude the people are around there.
Are you going to be rude, Mr. Smotherman? No, ma'am. Okay. All right. So tell you what, let's do. Why don't we sit down together? I'll talk with you right after this. Please don't go away again because I can't get you by phone.
I'm not.
All
I'm
right.
a busy person too. I run a business, so I'm a busy person too.
Okay. So can you stay? Yes. All right. Let's wait and start and set a time after this because I think everybody wants to do the right thing and work together. It's that one meeting. We've put all the conditions on that we can put on. However, it can be a higher fence or a wider buffer. I mean, a lot of things are in my mind. So if you wouldn't mind, if you would stay,
Yeah,
and let's
that's
see if we
great.
can't work this out, because you're all good people, and I know he wants to do the right thing.
He came up and talked to us.
Okay.
You
Can
know,
you
he
can you
was
stay?
respectful about it.
Okay. Thank you very much. With that being said, I move to defer. Is a week reality or 2 weeks? Are you okay with 2 weeks? Will that mess up anything for you? It'd be fine? All right, I move to defer. I don't have the date. It's the
The
23rd. 23rd. I move to defer to the 23rd.
Okay. Okay, it's been moved and properly second. All in favor? Sign of aye. Opposers, nay, please. Thank you. Deferred until April the 23rd. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Excuse me, sir. If you will, would you mind lowering your sign? We would really love to focus on the constituents that's up here pleading their case before us, if you don't mind. We get your message, but we really want to be able to focus, if you don't mind. Because I'm sure you have an opportunity to speak at the end of the session, which we would love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Madam Clerk, would you read B, please?
Reading alternate version 5, an ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 4, Article 2, Rules, Regulations, Criteria, Standards, Section 441, Rules adopted relating to noxious odors and nuisances.
Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Welcome to being able to call you that, too.
I know you're
About
enjoying
that.
this, aren't you?
I'm enjoying every
You've
moment
been
of it, I
smiling.
must
I ain't
say.
seen you smile that much
Yeah, it was a-
since before you was chair.
Good day.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So this item is something that has been in the works for a while, and I know 2 weeks ago it was deferred, and thank you at the time, Vice Chairman Oglesby, for doing that so that we could get a few other things in order and make sure that we were doing the right thing, and we had a good ordinance on the books. And I believe the changes we've been able to make in the meantime on the current version, we discussed it today at 1:30, we discussed it today at 3 o'clock, and there have been parties on both sides of this in those discussions. So with that, I thank everybody for their input, their time, and their interest, and also and hope for their support. And with that, sir, I will move approval.
Okay. Councilman Henderson, second. Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions? All in favor with the sign of aye? Aye. Opposes nay? Nay. Let's do a roll call. Yes, start with Councilman Burrs.
Burrs. Yes. Byrd. Yes. Coonrod. Gilbert. No. Henderson. Yes. Ledford. Yes. Smith. Yes. Oglesby.
Yes.
That's 6 yes.
Okay, it's, we have, you say 6? Have 6 yes, motion carries. Okay. Let's move on to C, please.
An ordinance closing and abandoning an unopened unit block of West 50th Street as detailed on the attached map, subject to certain conditions.
Right. Ledford.
Mr. Chairman, this is in your district. If you're okay, I'd like to go ahead and move for approval.
Councilman Henderson. It's been moved and properly second. Any questions? All in favor with the sign of aye? Aye. Opposes nay? Motion carries. D, please.
An ordinance closing and abandoning the 2500 block of Tom Street and a portion of the 1500 block of East 26th Street as detailed on the attached map, subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Byrd.
Move to approve.
Councilwoman Coonrod, second. All in favor with the sign of aye? Aye. Opposes nay? I'm sorry. Oh, you, okay, Councilwoman Coonrod. Put your, hit your light again. Okay, you already got the second? Okay. It's been moved and properly second. All in favor? Opposes nay? Motion carries. Let's move on to 8A. Oh, what? E, did I get E? 8E. Oh, I'm sorry, E. E, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 24, Article 14, Section 24504, relating to one-way streets.
Councilman Ledford.
Move to approve.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Any questions? All in favor with the sign of aye? Aye. Opposes nay? Motion carries. Now, we'll move on to 8A, resolutions.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic and Community Development to enter into a professional services agreement with VDZ plus A Consulting, Inc. for a skate park feasibility study for an amount not to exceed $73,789.
What's the pleasure of the council? Questions? All in favor by the sign of aye? Aye. Opposes nay? Nay. Okay, we've got one nay. Motion carries. B, please.
A resolution authorizing the city treasurer to renew purchase order number 526211 to Harris Computer Systems for a one-year renewal period for the purpose of billing and collections of property tax in the amount of $116,500.65.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Move approval.
It's been moved and properly second. Questions? All in favor by the sign of aye? Aye. Opposes nay? Motion carries. C, please.
A resolution amending resolution number 29546 to reflect the name change of Tidwell, Izell, and Richardson to Tidwell and Associates, and hereby authorizes the Office of the City Attorney to continue to engage said firm for legal services and general litigation matters.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Move approval.
Second. It's been moved and properly second. Questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposed is nay. Motion carries. D, please.
A resolution authorizing the Director of the Office of Multicultural Affairs to release the second payment of the approved contract funds to CoLab for Kiva for fiscal year 2019 in the amount of $43,000.
Councilman Ledford.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly second. Questions? All in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed is nay. Motion carries. E, please.
A resolution authorizing the award of contract number Y18002-201 to JDH Company, Inc. of Chattanooga, Tennessee, replacement roofing system for Heritage House Community Center in the amount of $167,216.20 with a contingency amount of $20,000 for an amount not to exceed $187,216.20.
Councilman Ledford.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly second. Questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposed is nay. Motion carries. F, please.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to execute a paving for pizza agreement and to accept a monetary donation sponsored by Domino's Pizza to fill potholes within the city, subject to certain conditions, for a total amount not to exceed $5,000.
Councilman Henderson.
Who wouldn't be in favor of filling up a pothole? Especially if pizza's paying for it. I move approval.
It's been moved and enthusiastically second. Questions? All in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed is nay. Motion carries. G, please.
A resolution to authorize year 3 of a 4-year term for the on-call blanket contracts for geoenvironmental consulting and construction materials testing services, contract number E16007-301 with the following firms: 1, Geoservices LLC, 2, KS Ware and Associates LLC, 3, S&ME Inc., 4, Stantec Consulting Services Inc., 5, Terracon Consultants Inc., and 6, Thompson Engineering Inc., based on the 3 services categories of geotechnical, construction materials testing, and environmental services that each consultant qualified for. The renewal of the 6 one-year blanket contracts for professional services estimated at $400,000 total annually for all 6 professional firms for use by all departments.
Councilman Ledford.
Move to approve, Chairman.
It's been moved and properly second. Questions? All in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed is nay. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to purchases. Well, Bonnie.
Good evening. We have 4 purchases for your consideration tonight. First being on behalf of the Information Technology Department, and it is for the approval of cumulative purchase orders that equal the amount of $30,336.19 to be paid to CDWG. Second, and the 3 remaining purchases being on behalf of the Public Works Department. First, we have the increase to the authorized expenditure for stump grinding and removal to be awarded to LH Lewis Tree Service. The increase will be in the amount of $11,000, and the revised total estimated spend will be $32,000. Next, we have a new blanket contract for centrifuge parts repair and recondition services to be awarded to Flotwig Separation Technology in an estimated annual amount of $250,000. And finally, we have 3 new blanket contracts for electrical services at the Moccasin Bend Wastewater Treatment Plant to be awarded to first, Tri-State Electrical Contractors, LLC, second, Admin Electric Company, Inc., and third, Nabco Electric Company, Inc., in a total estimated annual amount of $12 million.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Move approval. Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Questions? All in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed is nay. So what you want to read it out? Okay. We have an item that was not on the agenda, but the city attorney would like to read it for our consideration.
Pursuant to the provisions of your code, in here we had 2 items actually. One of those is a request for the signing of the CHA Bottle Shop, DBA Rossville Bottle Shop. It is a liquor license provision. Y'all actually authorized that in June, and for some reason we have lost the signatures that are associated with allowing that operation to start. And I brought those with me tonight, if y'all can at least sign those during the other business portion of the agenda. The other item is that pursuant to section 2754 of the code here, we've got a notification that 5 employees in the Public Works Department may receive a trip in the amount of $4,000 each, being split by 2 competing equipment manufacturers, Canby and Veolia, for travel and training expenses to a trip to Europe, because they're supposed to be reviewing innovative solid technologies for biosolids treatment, and that's really the only place in the world that you can see that. These manufacturers are providing for the expenses for that trip, and pursuant to 7554, any employee can't accept that without the express consent of the city council. And that's the reason I brought that up to your attention. If there's any concern about that or a problem with that, let me know.
Madam Clerk, it's on the agenda, so you have that, right? You're good? Okay. So you just need approval for that?
Yes, sir.
Okay? Okay. Okay, we have a, okay. Oh, sorry. There you go, Ms. Coonrod.
Thank you, Chair. Do you have proof that we originally had it on the agenda in June and we previously signed it and we just lost it?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like
do.
to see that.
I have a copy of it. If I can find my copy of it here, I will give it to you in just a second.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, it's been, on this particular item, it's been moved and properly second. All in favor with sign of aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, is there any, did you need to say something? Is there, we move on to other business. Is there any business the council would like to share? Councilman Byrd.
Thank you, Chair. Just to let everyone know, if you see these hate pins that we are wearing with a slash through it, Thursday, April 11th at the Camp House, Mayor Burke is launching a Council Against Hate with a public kickoff event. This is a community effort to combat all forms of hate speech, violence, and discrimination. If you all are worried about these things and have experienced these things, we ask you to join us April the 11th at the Camp House, and the time is at 5:30 p.m. So we would like to see a lot of you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there anybody else? Well, I would like to invite everybody to come out to East Lake Park this coming Friday, April the 13th at 3:30. There will be a groundbreaking of the renovation that is scheduled to start with that park, and that includes improving the water quality, which is the pond. They're going to be adding some educational components. They're going to be moving the playground so it matches up with the school. So it's one of Chattanooga's oldest historic park, and I invite everybody to come out for that celebration this coming Friday at 3:30 at East Lake. Okay, now we'll move on to committee reports. Councilwoman Burrs.
No report.
Councilman Byrd.
No report, sir.
Councilwoman Coonrod.
Thank you, Chair.
Hit your contraption. Yeah, there you go.
We had a committee report on teen empowerment today with our YFD centers. Uncle Joe is doing an amazing job. If you all have time to check out the work that he's doing at Eastdale, East Chattanooga, West Side, and Carver Center, please reach out to Uncle Joe so you can make that happen. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I suspect by the time we get to this meeting, I will no longer be Public Safety Chairman, but I have spoken to Chief Roddy. His first available date to be at a Public Safety meeting, Public Safety Committee meeting, is April the 30th, so I'd like to go ahead and schedule a Public Safety Committee meeting for April the 30th with Chief Roddy to go over the ordinance that Councilman Gilbert will be bringing.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Ledford.
No report, Chairman.
Councilman Smith, ex-chair.
Former chair.
Former chair, not ex-former, okay. Okay. Now we're at the time for recognitions of person wishing to address the council on non-agenda items. Mr. Attorney, would you please read the rules?
Yes, sir. At the end of every council meeting, the chair can recognize persons who are here and wish to address the council. These rules are applicable in every meeting. Each speaker wishing to address the council can only be recognized at the microphone provided for that purpose. No person can have more than 3 minutes to speak, and the speaker can address the council only upon matters within the legislative and quasi-judicial authority of the council. Can't use any vulgar, obscene language or use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others. Please address all your comments to the council as a body as a whole, not to any individual. And the chair cannot recognize any person, neighborhood, association, or organization to speak twice, more than twice, in any 30-day time period. So if anyone wants to speak, now's the time.
Well, we do have one person on the 30-day list, and that's Mr. Monty Bell.
Yes, sir.
Time.
Could you put the time up there, please? Thank you.
Thank you. On May the 6th, 2018, Jacoby Jordan was murdered in front of the Nine Brothers in Councilman Oglesby District on the South Side. His mother has not been given any answers, and I do not understand, because the Nine Brothers sits right across the street from a taxpayer paid for police camera. According to the police, none of the shooting was recorded. How could that be so if taxpayers have paid for services that should be rendered by the city of Chattanooga to capture any sort of heinous crimes in a community? Isn't that what the purpose of the camera is for? I have a problem that the councilman in that district did not reach out to the family. Further, I have a problem that the mother lives in District 8, and the councilman that lives right across the street from her did not assist her. This mother has continued to grieve for far too long, and rather a year. And how is it that police officers have not talked to her? They have not spoken with the family. They have cleared this in some sort of institutional way as a justifiable homicide, saying that Mr. Jacoby Jordan supposedly had a gun, but have not given any burden of proof in a visual way that he had a gun and endangered the safety of any said persons who were there at the Nine Brothers. I question why any taxpayer would be paying for cameras that do not work, or that do not work towards the police that seem to release video footage when it fits their narrative. But when a black mother is crying for help and answers for her murdered son, somehow there is no answers. Micah 6 and 8 says that, what does the Lord require of you, O man, except that you do justice and walk humbly before your God? If you say that you serve the Lord and you do not do justice, how does he know you? If you know a family is hurting and you do not help them, what is the purpose of you being here? And I continue to preach and say the unpopular thing that these names and these tags and the pats on the back and the laughs and all of that, and just the absurdity of we even have to go into an agreement with a pizza parlor to put cement into our potholes, but we spent several $1 million in Miller Park is absolutely absurd. And we're more worried about somebody asking for people to be paid fairly $15 an hour, and when I'm asking you for justice, you ain't got nothing to say. Wake up, good people, and see what's going on before you. And when is this council going to do the good work of doing God's work, which is justice work? That mother needs answers. And can the black council people get together to give her just that? Answers on a taxpayer camera. What happened to her son?
Thank you very much, Ms. Mott. I appreciate your comments.
What happened to her son?
Is there anybody else who would like to speak? Please, sir, come up to the podium.
Good evening, City Council. How are you all?
Good evening.
Thank you. My name is Sean Nix. I am from District 7. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I reside at 5333 Lee Avenue. I'm coming on behalf of the NAACP as LGBTQ chair, task force chair. We will be having the mayor at our office on April the 15th at 6 o'clock. We actually invite all of City Council as well as all of the constituents that are here and that will be watching. He will be discussing things that are going on within the city as well as addressing all of the community concerns. As well as we know with Saturday, the Hamilton County Democratic Party, we had our elections. And it was a great time to get around like-minded individuals. And I was elected as Hamilton County Democratic Chair Representative for District 4. So I'll be working with our city councilmen that reside within that district. I look forward to working with you all and working on a strategic plan moving forward to move our district onward and upward. So thank you so much for this time.
Thank you, and congratulations on your election. Is there anybody else that would like to speak to the council this evening? Council, what's your pleasure? Thank you. We are adjourned.
Good job.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Pat you on the back.
Yeah.
Real loud.
Okay. What's up, man? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. My Elvis voice in the mic. Thank you very much.